Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Howdy, Richard. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. All right. I think the audio is pretty good.
Oh, we're live. All right.
We are live. We're
Oh,
going.
hello.
Howdy, howdy. Would you actually introduce yourself and just tell the chat and everybody what you do, who you are, how long you've been at EA, kind of just give them the
Woo.
background?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Long time listener, first time
Mm.
caller kind of situation. My name is Richard Walls. I'm the game design director on Ultimate Team. I've been on the product for over a decade. I used to be a feature designer. I did squad building challenges, the
Ooh,
original objective systems. And then for 2 years, I went over to Pro Clubs and Volta to do some more social features, and then came back to Ultimate Team about like 4 years ago, like one World Cup ago,
nice.
to work on evolutions and yeah, work with the game design and production team on bringing the game modes and features. And I've been a lifelong football fan and a huge nerd. Uh, yeah,
Awesome.
that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, I love to hear about the Evo things because maybe we'll just start there. I'm looking into some of the stuff from the deep dive. Hold on, I just moved screen so things get messed up. But one of the things in the deep dive from yesterday about Ultimate Team talked about goalkeeper evolutions, and I think one of our maybe one step deeper questions that we came up with after reading some of that yesterday was, do you know how often, or is there a plan for how often those would maybe be released? Because it's got to be more difficult because you only have one goalkeeper, but you do need multiple teams this year with the Gauntlet. So yeah,
I know we got roasted watching some people's reaction videos for saying like, "Oh, we'll have details closer to launch." So I can't say like whether they're going to be weekly or bi-weekly, but we know that
sure.
they're going to be, especially with repeatable evolutions,
Hmm.
the ability for you to level up multiple players using the same evo
Hmm.
will mean that we don't have to have like somebody go in, manually create a goalkeeper evolution, and then 5 days later do it again. We can just have a repeatable goalkeeper evo
Right.
that's up and that you can continue to, put the goalkeepers you love through them.
Awesome. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited for those because especially with gauntlets, like I've always wanted to evolve Matt Turner because he's kind of like my US men's national team lookalike.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just think he's a cool guy. So like I'm looking forward to maybe evoing somebody who's like lower rated. Do you know, like one of the things in the past we've always asked about and wondered is with goalkeeper evos, will there be reaction boost for those cards? Would that be a part of the stat boost?
So for the stat boots themselves, obviously like playstyles and everything is going to be like massively important. For
Yeah.
reactions themselves, I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I'm going to take
Okay.
that away and I will get back to you. I just don't want to say yes and then that
Sure.
not be the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
No, I
will
appreciate
say
that.
like on the goalkeeper side of things, I have my like Canadian men's and women's team that I've been evolving all year,
Yeah.
and I just have my goalkeeper at the back, like looking really sad and neglected. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited to finally have the full 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's one of the things we're excited for too is just adding that last piece of the puzzle for Evos for a full 11 to get upgraded and stuff. All right,
Yeah,
so
it took us a bit, but we're there. Thank you
yeah,
for being patient-ish with us.
absolutely. I think going forward into the more information from the deep dive yesterday, one of the questions that I wanted to ask about was the tournaments and gauntlets because that's
Oh
obviously
yeah.
a really exciting thing. We're excited to have tournaments back and gauntlets as well. And yesterday gave us a lot better insight into that and a lot more details about how it's going to look, especially with like the pictures in the deep dive. I always love the pictures and seeing how it's going to actually look in the menus because it gives you a little bit of a taste, really. I think one of the questions that we're wondering is that seems, especially when you hear the word tournaments, very competitive and very cutthroat
Mhm.
kind of thing. Are some of those tournaments and live events also going to be more friendly as well? More so what we knew as cups or other friendlies?
Yeah, so I think the like big theme that's hard to get across sometimes in the pitch notes or even when we're doing the producer tour is like why FUT is going to feel different day to
Mm.
day from
Hmm.
26 to 25. So when we started off doing the concept for Ultimate Team, we know we have our play pattern right now of like grind rivals, get to the higher divisions. It becomes extremely sweaty
Mm,
for the opportunity to go compete in the weekend for champions, and then during the week, maybe there was a friendly that would come up, and friendlies is like the ironic game mode where it
mm,
was sometimes, depending on the reward or attempts, one of the sweatiest places you could be. But now with the introduction of like tournaments, gauntlets, and then like we're really evolving what friendlies is going to be this cycle.
mm,
There's going to be more things for you to do during the week that's going to have a large variety of like, hey, just bring the players in the squad that you want to play with
mhm.
rather than you feel like you have to play with to compete in the rivals and champ space.
Okay.
Whether that's through gauntlets or the live event side of things. And we're giving you more permission to play how you want to play, experiment with your players, and not just feel like everything is absolutely like white knuckled competition all the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And then one of the ways that that's going to play out as well is I don't think this even came out really in the pitch notes was the opportunity for us to do like co-op exclusive live events.
Mm,
So we can say like it has to be you and a friend playing together against other groups of two people in a live event,
okay. Yeah.
and we can do things like, hey, you have to win 5 matches for this to even qualify for the next event as well.
Mm.
So the live service is going to feel really different this year.
That's what I got from looking at the pitch notes and talking to some of you guys in Vancouver as well. Is like, even talking to Jamie, was like, okay, so every day when we look at the new content that comes out, we got to look at SBCs and Evos and objectives, but also the live events tab because there might be something that is announced because it was mentioned that some of those competitions could be announced up to 2 weeks in advance so that you have time to prepare for it. So
Yep.
that I think all of that sounds fantastic, just with more
Yeah,
ways to play the
it
game
it'll
different
be
ways.
interesting because like, right now, the way we do content drops is we don't have, like, a warning, you just, like, show up and, like, "Oh, is there something new to do today?" So you
Yeah.
can't really plan around it, and we wanna change that. So, yeah, there's gonna be more to pay attention to, but you also don't have to, like, log in on the exact day to
Mm,
figure out what your week's gonna look like.
that's true. Yeah. Speaking of those tournaments and gauntlets and Evos at the same time, will we be able to Evo players in those modes as well if the Evos allow for it, or is that like a no Evo space? You know about that?
Uh I'd say it depends on the like event itself.
Okay.
Friendlies or the like new live event system, that's probably going to be more of your like casual space where you're not going to feel punished for bringing in the players that you want to evo.
Okay.
We can absolutely do things like some gauntlets or tournaments are just the entry requirement is 11 players
Hmm.
that like you've evolved or are evolving.
Okay.
So there will be spaces for that, but I think the reality of playing and evolving online instead of just playing like squad battles at the difficulty you know you're going to win at
Yeah.
will be the live event space.
Okay. Cool. And then I want to turn to gauntlets a little bit and speak about that. One of the questions that we were trying to figure out in the stream yesterday was it seems simple, but I just wanted to clarify when it says that there's 3 rounds, that's just one match per round, correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. And
So
then,
different
go ahead.
squad each round, and it's from 2 to 5, but asking people to like maintain and care about 5 squads at launch is just like you kind of
Yeah,
have your squad that you're chasing, and then like your I don't know, kind of god squad, and then you have your second tier like players that you like. For me, it's my Canada team that I'm
sure.
chasing after.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a great space to use that. And we've already been talking about in the stream as well, like how it's going to look different from just a club management perspective of, okay, these players that I used to just say, I haven't used them in 2 weeks, I'm going to throw them into an SBC. Now it's like,
Right?
hold on, I might need to keep those. That's cool too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and I'm sure you are as well, about what this does to the market as well
Oh,
as
yeah,
people are actively chasing after more content other than just to like throw them into the fodder machine of SPC.
for sure. And then one more thing on gauntlets related to how the players are locked after they're used. Let's say in round one, game one, I use Inform Lamine Yamal because I have him. In round two, would I be able to use the gold Lamine Yamal if I had him as well, or no?
So yeah, so to start off, you will be able to use if players have a different rarity, you're
Hmm.
going to be able to do that.
Okay.
Um, What I do want to say is we're going to monitor this, and if people are just kind of bringing in duplicates of the same squad
Yeah.
again and again, and we're not seeing that like, oh, you have permission to use the players that you love, we'll
Mm,
clamp down on that, and you'll only be
okay.
able to use one.
Okay. Gotcha. That's good to know because I think that was one of the questions right away I thought of from a maybe a meta perspective of, somebody's going to have this Mbappe, but they can buy another Mbappe to still use Mbappe in the next game, you know?
Yeah, the idea here was that if you just have a left winger that you absolutely love to use, we didn't want to completely shut that down. But if we see that it's 11 players that are the same going through round one, two, three, etc., that's not in the spirit of what we're trying to do. So we'll
Hmm.
we'll fix that.
Okay.
But we'll see what your community does.
Okay. Yeah. To be determined, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next thing I want to kind of go over is like rivals and the bounties and duels. I'm really excited
Okay.
for this because I think it just adds a fun, unique challenge to rivals that the more that I think about it, rivals was this year just about getting your weekly points or your reward upgrade to get the rewards, right? And it was like, I'm trying to get on a two times win streak to get extra points, but now we have the bounties in there. Can you maybe expound a little bit upon? It says the bounties are randomly triggered. Is that just like you maybe will have one bounty every 5 to 10 games? Is it
Yeah,
fully
yeah, that's
random? Like,
an elusive an amount of like bounties per session. So right now, the we want bounties to feel special, so we can't give them away like every single match, and
sure.
knowing that that would constantly come up.
Hmm.
And then also like for transparency, tuning the ability to earn like close to double rewards for every single match.
Mm,
It just means that we have to tune them down to the point where they won't really feel special.
sure.
So we're looking right now at like roughly one out of every three matches as kind of being
Okay.
the sweet spot for the experience. So a couple times a session for sure. We want to make sure you have those moments where each match feels different. And if we release a feature and you don't get to see it for like a session or two
Mm.
as well, like
Yeah,
what are we
true.
doing?
Yeah. No, that sounds great, honestly. And then looking at the picture that was on the pitch notes from yesterday, I was just trying to decipher what is a duel and what is a bounty. Because there's like a little
Right.
lightning bolt, and then another one is a versus. Is the versus the duel?
Yeah, versus the
Okay.
duel.
All
So
right.
like bounties is like our umbrella term for all of the different types
Mm-hmm.
of kind of objectives that you can get
Okay.
underneath them. And the duel is the one where um, it's like really feast or famine. Like we already know how win centric Rivals is, but we also know how competitive our community is. So we wanted
Mm-hmm.
to bring something that is like when you and I go into a match, we're both staring at the same thing, and only one of us is going to walk away with this. Which is why like first strike for me, like it just really sets the tension of a matchup,
Yeah.
and we know that our game is already very competitive, and we're basically adding like an extra little bit on top of an already competitive experience. But we think it's fun to shake it up, and we do
Mm.
balance that out with the things that are like, hey, if you just like score two goals in a row, or you're the last person to score, you're still walking away with something.
Yeah.
Even if you do like take that bounty away from somebody else, they can still come back, beat you, and then you both walk away as like feeling like your time was valued for coming into FUT.
That's the part that I love seeing from this is that like if I score first and go 4-2-4 all out attack for a first strike bounty, I still get maybe a couple of rivals points or a little bit of extra something instead of, losing the game and then getting nothing. I think that the value for time there is really exciting to me too. So I'm really excited for rivals.
Yeah, yeah, me too. We started off by saying like how do we reduce the feeling of the grind without getting in the way of like competitive integrity of the mode.
Yeah.
So, and then also how do we make more space for you to feel like when there's live events that are coming up or tournaments you want to take part in that you actually have the time and it's not just like another thing for you to do on top of everything else. So we want to give you more time back with your, if you complete a bounty, getting rivals points for beating it, and then removing playoffs as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of playoffs and foot champs, um, one of the questions that I saw a lot from yesterday's pitch notes as well was the graphic that kind of showed the foot champions like progression of rewards.
Yep.
Is there actually a new reward set for every game you win, like as you move up for every win, or is it still
Yep.
kind of
Every match counts, man.
okay? Sweet.
Yeah. So we know that sometimes you only have like one game left, and you get to a point where, well, even if I win this, there's nothing for me there.
Yeah,
We want to make sure that every game you play matters. Full stop.
awesome. A couple people have asked about challengers as well. I know that that's going to be kind of like the lower divisions foot champs experience. How are you trying to make sure that the rewards for that aren't so good as champs that people want to stay down in the lower divisions and play there just to try to mop up and go 15-0 in
Yeah.
challengers? Is that something that you're aware of too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like we're all gamers. We see what happens in other competitive games where you, or even like we've historically had this, where live LFFs or live FUT friendlies were tied to your rival's rank, and people
Hmm.
would stay in divisions just so that their
Yeah.
games are easier over there. So like we understand the problem space. It's not incredibly easy to solve on the edge cases where you have people running multiple accounts or anything like that.
Hmm.
But for the most part, the combination of rivals rewards escalating as you go up the divisions in a
Hmm.
significant way, and then also champions reward just being like outright the pinnacle of rewards in Ultimate Team.
Okay.
Um, if you're caring about like progression and rewards and you're able to compete in champions, um, that'll be the spot for you.
Awesome. Then progression a little bit. Power curve has been something that's been touched on a lot. I know it wasn't necessarily mentioned too much in the deep dive. Not that it would really have a place to be mentioned, I guess, to be honest, because that was more about like the features of the game and stuff like
Right.
that. But is the increasing of the rewards, kind of like we had this year in 25 with rivals and champs, as there was a, we started off with some certain things, and we got later in the year and we had some better rewards, bigger packs, more coins. That still progression is going to go throughout FC26 as well, keeping in mind the hope for a slower increase of the curve.
I would say that we accelerated people's progression too quickly in the 25 space. Our
Hmm.
players felt it.
Yeah.
Like I've been on the product for 10 years, and I remember back in the day packing like a team of the week a few weeks in, and they would be the only like special item in my squad,
Yeah.
and then slowly getting out of that gold rare path. We're not going to go all the way back to the days where you're never getting campaign items or things
Mm-hmm.
like that, but we are definitely uh, slowing down from what we've learned and seen in 25.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I think that's great because that's been a lot of the big questions, especially after, like, I talked to Jamie and some of those interview things got out and some of the things that he was saying. I think a lot of people were interested in that beforehand, but maybe didn't even realize it. I mean, definitely the notice of the power curve in 25 moving really quickly, but like that just kind of sparked a lot of the questions of how is it going to look in 26? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like the biggest thing for me that we're discussing and exactly how to land it, and Jamie's team is like the best people to speak about this, but from
Mm,
like a player experience side of things, the way the power curve has kind of gone is very incremental. Like
mm,
you're kind of getting plus one, maybe not even plus one, but like a few attributes here and an upgrade there,
mm,
rather than like step changes in power. And
mm.
that's what feels really good, is when you get like a significantly better item and you can
Yeah.
feel that bonus rather than just like slowly turning up the volume knob on your squad.
Yeah. Speaking of like slowly turning up the volume and then step curves, I think a lot of people this year during team of the season and some of the other promos that were longer than 1 to 2 weeks kind of felt like by the end of the promo they were getting a little more tired of it, I guess. Is that something that was noticed in maybe going to change for 25? Because, like, how can you not
Um,
make team of the season
y-
long, though? You know what I mean? With all the leagues.
yeah. So this is an interesting one because trying to balance the game for like uh, tens and tens and tens of millions of players is trying to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of things that can make a campaign feel long. One of them is obviously like the players not really rotating in that campaign, but another is just I think what I'm most excited about in 26
Mm.
is right now, we have a bit of conflict in the community saying like, hey, if you didn't release something on like a day, if there wasn't new content today, the game is dead,
Yeah.
versus people who are saying like, hey, there's too much. that's happening. I don't feel like I can keep up, and we're constantly trying to balance those things.
Hmm.
So I think right now when you think about content coming out, maybe there's like you think about SBC, maybe there's objectives, but it all takes place in the same like gameplay arena. You're playing rivals, you're playing champs, all that
Hmm.
stuff repeats. So when we're doing a campaign, you think, what are the players in the campaign?
Hmm.
Not what's the competition structure in this campaign?
Mm.
How am I going to be playing differently? Like what's the gameplay going to be? So you can take a campaign that runs multiple weeks, but because you get to use that content in
Mm.
tournaments or gauntlets or live friendlies, co-op, whatever, it's going to feel very different day to day and not just because oh there's a new player on the market or a new SBC coming out.
Yeah, I think just going back to even what we talked about before with the tournaments and gauntlets like that, that is going to be a whole new world, and that excites me to see how that changes how we play and how it motivates us to play too. So I'm sure there's going to be, like you said, tweaks and things that need to be changed as we figure out how it feels and works. But yeah, that is probably one of the most exciting things that I see from 26 so far for sure. It's funny you mentioned too the whole "the game is dead" comments too, because that those those have been pretty common, at least in the past couple of months. So I think all these changes are going to be very welcome.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just excited that the like gameplay and structures will be different, not just like the content.
yeah, absolutely. Speaking of one thing, I know you've probably heard a lot of people talk about the servers, and I know that you're not on the gameplay side of things because I feel like servers are a very was that a word? An ambiguous topic. Um, and especially when it comes to like promo Fridays, like you think of the big promo Fridays like team of the year, and you get the little queue message that you're not able to log on, or for the first 45 minutes to an hour, like the servers are down. Is that from a content side of things? You may not even be in those rooms and know much about the servers themselves, but like, how is that the feedback from those areas being perceived on your end as well? I guess.
Yeah, so you're correct. I'm not the right dev to give you technical answers about why our servers are working or sometimes not the way that you would expect. I can say that we've made like improvements to the menu responsiveness, which is one of the ways that this can kind of manifest itself, and then the other obviously being gameplay responsiveness as well.
Hmm.
So I've got to give you the like I'm not the right person, but I did
Sure.
message leading up to this the right people as well, and they are like continuing to work on this space.
Okay.
I will say we have like I'm going to pitch the FC feedback portal,
Mm.
which is newly opened. Any additional information that we can get when the game like isn't feeling what you would expect it to feel, like the
Mm.
menus are sluggish or gameplay is not responsive. If you can provide videos and information, like I just did a test yesterday and like went through the feedback myself to see if somebody was reading it, and they're active. They're on this.
Cool.
So yeah, please use the portal. And like oh god, it sounds like such the marketing line, but like we are listening. We're
Yeah.
actively like this is why I'm here today as well. Is like
Hmm.
I've always wanted to be more involved with the community and be more transparent.
Hmm.
But the reality is we were kind of worried about saying the not even just like saying the wrong thing, but if you say the wrong thing, then you open yourself up for even like lawsuits. So we were
Mm.
very like risk adverse in this space.
Mm.
But now we know that like the community wants open dialogue with us, and
Mm.
like we want to speak with them, and let them know that we are listening and we're trying to build this game together as best as we can.
Yeah, I think that has been a very welcomed, you know, just way to go about it this year. It's been so nice to have that openness and be able to talk about things and see you guys and do this. Like it's been awesome. One quick thing I want to just go back on if I could is you
Yeah.
mentioned like improving the menu responsiveness. Is that
Mhm.
like specific to like just moving about the menus in all the different ways, like SBCs? Like, can you maybe double down on what exactly was improved there?
Yeah, so the menu responsiveness, like just tabbing around when you're, well, I guess there's two things. We have a new menu system,
Mm-hmm.
which brings the content that you care about to you much smarter. So you don't have to like dive around the menus as
Mm.
much. But just in terms of I press a button, how long does it take for the game to recognize that? The same play how you sorry, the same way that you lose trust in gameplay when there's dropped inputs and there
Mm,
isn't that like direct response when you press something, not being sure if the game has accepted that input,
mm-hmm.
you start to lose trust in gameplay. And the same thing is true for menus.
Okay.
So, same approach, making sure that every input that you're putting into the menus matters. You know, I would say that it's a big difference between the 2 years, but it's also still something that we're going to need to continue to work on.
Okay. That's cool. I think a lot of the menu things that we've maybe found issues with in this past year would be like sometimes you complete an SBC and then like your controller doesn't work and it feels like it's crashed, then you just have to reset the game, stuff like that. So hopefully that is one of the things that has been improved with that bit of an update. But
Yeah, so that specific one, I don't know, but I
okay.
can promise you I'm going to go to the team and
Okay.
ask specifically about that one. So
Yeah.
I think the probably the most important thing to get across is just being like vulnerable as a dev team as well. Like me
Mm,
saying like I don't know if we fix that specific problem,
sure.
but I'll go find out and we'll add it to our list and we'll we'll get to it.
Yeah. Awesome. I know that's just that's been the great thing about having these conversations so far is being able to request certain things and like you being able to say, you know what, I can't do it, but I can totally do this and get it to the right person who can. So that is really cool. Um, I know we don't have a ton of time left, but I wanted to either maybe take a couple of questions from the chat if I could, or maybe just let you take the stand again for a minute or so and talk about anything
Uh,
that you're super excited about.
let's do a couple from the chat.
Okay.
I'm here to like listen, and then I will preach about a couple things, I guess,
Okay.
in the last minute or so. But like,
Okay.
I wanna hear from the community.
One of the questions that I had earlier today that was just mentioned in the chat was um, icon cards and how some of the dynamic images and even like in game. Remember when we used to have the base, the mid, and the prime, and they would have
Yep.
different looks from different periods of their career? Is that sort of differentiation of the icons still possible? I know they have different dynamic images, but even in game, like R9 with no hair versus the R9 haircut sort of thing.
Yeah, it should be possible. I'm gonna add that to my list
Okay.
to take away, get back to you, side channel it, and then you can respond. Like, I won't. We're not gonna wait until like another pitch notes for me to respond to some of these. I'll
Sure.
find a way of getting the answer to the community.
Sure. Um, let's see. I'm trying to ask a couple more. Oh, this is more of a joke from the chat. I have to ask it, but the Carlos Vela SBC. There's a lot of guys in my chat. There was like a end of an era during Ultimate Team this season, and there was a Mexico flag, and they were all like, "That's got to be Carlos Vela," and then he hasn't dropped. Is that like, oh, and super subs? Those are maybe the two things that we feel like we thought we were gonna have, and then we missed out on in 25. Can you maybe ask or answer why, where super subs went, stuff like that?
I can say that this one I've got to dance around a bit because there's some like legal issues. So,
Oh, okay.
you know what? I can say that super subs is a concept that we're really excited about, but in order to bring it to life, and have it be something that just like fits in better to our
Mm,
ecosystem rather than something that's kind of slapped on, it's going to take a bit more work.
okay. Good to know. Good to know. Interesting. Yeah. No, that's cool though. I'm glad you can even answer that. That's pretty cool. Some people are asking about draft. I know that Jamie mentioned that draft rewards were going to level up throughout the year, but the mode itself wasn't going through any huge overhauls. Is there anything else on that?
Yeah, I mean that's correct. We're doing draft rewards. We are updating those. So I know there was kind of two levels of expectations or like hope on draft, and one of them is an overhaul, which we would love to hear what you would like to see. Like
Mm,
like you at home, what would you like to see in draft? How would you
mm,
like it to be different? And then yes, we're at least touching the rewards,
hmm.
but we know how much potential the mode has, and it is something that as a dev group we're discussing.
Cool. Cool. One other thing I just saw in chat too that might be one of the last chat questions we can ask for now because of time, but bringing back the tournaments has been really exciting, kind of a nostalgia piece in a way.
Yeah.
Would bringing back icon swaps be another nostalgia piece that maybe we could, recommend or add as feedback for the future of some sort of content. I know the season passes are kind of their own thing now and they're different, but that whole icon swaps piece of the collecting was really enjoyed.
Yeah,
So,
I fully on board. I love the concept of like seeing what you're working after and then having the long term goals to like have that amount to something. I'd say that we are definitely very interested in bringing something like that back.
okay. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. So maybe one last question, because there's been this wanting to know from everybody in the community for such a long time. Don't worry, it's not that hard hitting of a question,
I
but
know. I'm like, what have we been leading up to for half
no,
an
no.
hour?
This is all we're leading up to. Are you the L2 guy who created the L2 menu of switching through the menus in game? Because the community wants to know so bad who is the L2 guy.
So the quick switcher L2 person. So we have a experienced design team. Lilia is the head of our XD. We have Mark, and so the ability to hop around quickly throughout the game, team effort. I'm not the L2 guy. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
it's okay. It's just been like we've been trying to figure out who it is, and I think that just kind of became a fun banter thing at the beginning of last year because that's just been such a awesome way and simplified way to move throughout the menus that we just loved it. So yeah,
Yeah, it saves a lot of time for
it
sure.
it does. Well, unless there's anything else that you'd like to say, I mean, I appreciate you sharing at least just 30 minutes of your time in your busy schedule working on FC26 to chat with us and get some more feedback from us, but then also present too. So,
Yeah, I think there's like some healthy like some of the feedback that I've seen from the community has been like really fantastic in terms of hey, it sounds like we're actually listening. And then there's also like a healthy skepticism with it that
mm,
like, hey, this can't just be a one and done thing. You can't just say like, hey, here's some features that we know you care about.
hmm
So I'd say like some people have been talking about some of the solves that we're doing
mm,
for years, such
okay.
as bringing back tournaments and what I can say now is that we are like properly staffed. We have
Mm,
a team called the continuous development team whose focus is on being much closer to the day-to-day frustrations or opportunities. So
yeah.
two-way street, tell us what you love and you want us to keep doing, tell us what you wish that we had that we don't have, and continue to do what you're so good at, which is telling us what's wrong right now.
hmm
And we're properly staffed to start working on these things in a much more meaningful way than we were 2 or 3 years ago. So
Cool.
just like thank you for having me. I'm really excited to
Yeah.
continue to interface the community and actually like build the features that you want.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome having you on, and we really appreciate it. I know the community has really enjoyed the interviews and all the ones that were able to be done in Vancouver and even these now. It's just feels awesome to be able to feel this close to the game and get a whole lot of news straight from the source. So, yeah, thank you very much for being
I
on.
mean, likewise, instead of just like squirreling away for a year and building a game, like this energizes me so much. I'm really excited to go back, talk to the team, see what's going on with end of squad building challenges,
Mm,
and not being able to, well, basically having to force quit from there.
yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Chat, can we get some W's for Richard, please? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we'll see you again hopefully soon. All right.
Yeah, likewise. See ya.
Awesome. See
Bye,
ya.
everyone.
Bye bye. Chat. W, man. That was really solid, man. Nice guy. He is a very nice guy. I met Richard for the first time in Vancouver last year and then again this year, obviously. I thought we got some really good answers there, man. What was the secret feature? What do you mean? Oh, wait, secret feature? What do you mean? Danced around a lot of questions. Yeah, I mean, I think he has to because, like he said as well, he doesn't know everything about all the different areas. That's why I was trying to also not ask the gameplay related questions because we know that like he's not involved with the gameplay. So, yeah, avoided Vela. Well, he mentioned that that was a legal issue, so he kind of did, kind of didn't. So. Yo, Tomacek, I appreciate all the W's, chat. Thank you guys, man. Thank you. I know I didn't get to all the questions. We didn't have a ton of time to go through every single thing, but I thought that was really good, man. Yo, Dr. Dean with 1,000 biddies. Dr. Dean, thank you for the love, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the follows. I know that I missed some of the stuff in there while we were up. Chris with the super chat. Hold on, I need to catch up on some things. I need to catch up on some things for you guys, man. Sema, thank you for the super chat. Balance maintained between evolved players and high tier promotional cards. Yeah, I guess that kind of went through with the question of the power curve. I tried to get a power curve question in there, which I thought he answered pretty well. On the whiteboard, it said secret feature. Oh yeah, I saw that. I don't know. Maybe he did that just to L2 guys, L2 lady. Yeah, L2 lady, L2 team. Crazy, right? No, I think he said Carlos Vela was the legal issue, and Super Subs, he said they didn't have it fully developed yet, and they didn't want the feature to just be like a hit and miss. They want it to be like a hit, you know? The L2 collective? Yeah, L2 collective, man. Yeah. I think that's probably accurate. Has anybody got into the beta? I didn't want to ask him about the queue of the beta because I knew he wouldn't be able to answer that question because the beta is kind of not supposed to be talked about at all. So that's why I didn't ask about that one. Eddie, I asked him about Carlos Vela, bro. You gotta be happy. You gotta be happy. Yes, you're in Ultimate Team now. No Ultimate Team, but the beta is working. You're in now. You're playing now. All right, good, good, good. What about hackers or crossplay? Yeah, see, like I didn't ask about crossplay because, like, that's a gameplay thing, you know. And I don't think he would have been able to answer that question really well. And also, chat, like, I don't want to ask him questions that he doesn't have the answers to all the time, so that he has to sit there and say, I don't have the answers. Then he never wants to come back. You know what I mean? I want to ask him questions about. I'm glad I talked about rivals. He was really passionate about the rivals and the gauntlets and the tournaments and stuff. He was really happy to talk about that. You can tell that like he cares too. That's a dub. I know a lot of people used to say like, "Oh, do EA even care about the game?" But like the more and more that I see and talk to the devs and the creators, not the creators, the devs and the producers that work on the game, it's so obvious that he wants to put himself in, you know, the community and even risk a little bit of, you know, negative feedback and probably some negative comments and stuff like that. He wants to do that so that it ends up in a better game experience and more fun for all of us and a better time playing the game. And I respect that fully, man. I think that's sick. That's sick, man.